Welcome to War Thunder with Subdude. How y'all doing today? Well, this is my second video of the day, and I really thought about it after I made the first video about why the Italians are being neglected as far as air goes. Um, and it really did come down to the number of planes actually available for the Italians. Now, people are going, but France is newer and France is getting all these new planes. Well, here's the deal. Italy relied upon basically home construction, which means indigenous producers of aircraft were the only ones basically that the Italian Air Force or Regia Aeronautica, and I know I mispronounced that horribly, so if you're Italian and you understand Italian, and I'm apologizing to you. I'm sorry I don't speak Italian. But the Italian military relied upon Italian producers of aircraft. Whereas the French, due to their acquisition incompetence, realized very early on in 1938, 1939 that they were woefully behind what Germany was doing, and they weren't exactly happy with Germany, so they started outsourcing. They started looking across the pond to get American aircraft. And around that time, American aircraft companies were starting to produce a whole bunch of different designs. And they were offering them to the Army Air Corps at first. And as they were rejected, they went looking for other buyers, and the French were there going, me too, me too, me too. Which is why you ended up with a bunch of American aircraft in the French lineup. Almost too many French planes are American. But the Italians, post-war, ended up with a bunch of American planes too. And you can't really see it because there's basically one American plane. The F-84G. Well, the Italian Air Force also acquired F-84Fs. They also acquired F-86Ds and F-86Hs or Ks. I'm not sure which at the moment. I could look it up, but I'm sure somebody out there was already delving through going, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, guess what? I don't really care what you think. At this point, it's just a matter of reality. They picked up a bunch of American planes, including the F-104 Starfighter, which I really don't want to see in the game, not because I don't want to see it in the game, but because we don't have a map that's big enough for an F-104 Starfighter. Even the largest map that they have in game right at the moment, which is 125 by 125 kilometers, is way too small for a starfighter. And anyone that wants a supersonic aircraft, it's, start thinking, because 125 kilometers is covered at, well, warp speed. That's what it'll seem like. I mean, we already have MiG-17s, CL-13As, Hunters, Sabre F2s, F-25s, F-30s, F-40s that can cover the distance across a map in zip point nada. So it really is a matter of Gaijin needs to do some modifications before they put planes like the F-104 even on the drawing board. I don't know if that's a function of the Dagger engine or what, but 125 by 125 is currently, as far as I know, the map size limit that the game can function with. But back to the Italians. After the war, well, after they became U.S. allies, or the southern tier of Italy became U.S. allies, the northern tier still fought under the Nazi control. They gained P-47s, P-51s, etc., etc., etc. So they were basically armed by the U.S. Air Force with the hand-me-downs, which isn't such a bad deal. But it really does dilute the game style. And the same thing can be said about the French. It isn't until really post-war that the French went back to indigenous production. The SOs, the MDs, and please, I'm not going to try and pronounce the names. The only company that I can possibly pronounce is Dassault, or Dassault, however it's pronounced in France. And we currently have the very beginning of the Dassauts. Now, the SO 4050 Voitures, we're lacking one of those. That would be the, I forget which version it is. I think it's the N. But it's a dedicated fighter, and it's a two-seater with radar, and it's not an attacker, so it probably have a larger ammunition load. Plus a radar. Yeah, a radar. That plane would probably be a very good top tier fighter type plane. But they also have the Dassault Étendard. I think I pronounced that one right. And possibly the Super Mystère, or Mystère 4. Right now we have the Mystère 2A, which was only a prototype. It wasn't until the Mystère 2C came out that it was the standard production model. And the basic difference was a French designed turbojet, and it went from 4 20mm cannons to 2 30mm DEPAs. And that would also be a good top tier jet. But I understand why they're adding in the American planes into the French lineup. The French went shopping. They opened up the purse and they went shopping. And they bought. And they bought. And then a lot of it got diverted to England, which is why the Maryland, which I thought should have been a British plane, is going into the French lineup. which I really don't have a big deal with. Um, I believe the Baltimore will also end up in the French lineup if we get it. Tier 1, yeah, probably. It carries a better bomb load than the Potez, even if it doesn't carry a bigger bomb load than the F222-2 or the F2 or NC223-3. Those planes carry a huge load. And the Potez, God, I don't even know why they keep that one in the lineup, but it's there. Um, but that's pretty much it as far as what's coming out. I don't know whether they acquired any Buffaloes or not, Brewsters, but the French went shopping. And we were more than happy to supply them with a bunch of aircraft, which, like I said, a lot of them ended up going to the British, who put them to good use. And some were captured by the Germans, and they used them. And a lot of them they sold to the Finns, who put them to good use against the Russians. So, that, I hope, clears up a lot of the problems with the French and Italians and why different air forces are getting different planes. Again, I really wouldn't like to see the Italian Air Force being chock-a-block full of American planes after the G-56. It's rather annoying to see so many American planes copy and pasted over into another Air Force, even if that is basically what happened with the French Air Force. Matter of fact, there's only one of the American-made French planes that I've actually flown, and that's the A-35, because we don't have an analog in the American line. I haven't wasted my time flying any of the other ones, and worked my way down through the entire lineup, basically on the MB-162. Once I got to that, I basically ground out the entire rest of the line up until I got to my Vultor 2B, which I then proceeded to use to ground out the 2A, and then I used the 2A to grind out the rest of the French jets. So, yeah, I'm interested in the planes that are coming, but it doesn't really excite me that it's another American plane that should have been in the British tree, but hey, okay, they're putting it in the French tree. So Italian pilots, don't get upset. There are things that can come. I mean, seriously, let's look at it. With tanks moving up into the 70s and 80s, we could be looking at the G91Y, which is a twin-engine beast in the G91 series. We could be looking at the G91 R3, which was actually a German variant, which had two 30mm DIFAs. We could be looking at the F-84F, the swept wing version which was actually a completely different plane, but still an F-84. And if they make changes to the Dagger engine, we could possibly be looking at the F-104. I really hope we don't see the F-104, but there's a possibility. And I really hope we don't end up seeing a bunch of P-47s, P-51s added in, because there are plenty of those already. But that's all I got. This Subdued signing out. Y'all have a pleasant day, a better tomorrow, and we'll catch you in the skies. Take care, folks. Bye.